I want to start with a claim that kind of goes against everything we usually hear. You actually cannot have too much justice. But if you chase liberty without any limits or try to force total equality, you end up creating profound injustice. Okay, so let's unpack that. We've pulled the most game-changing insights from this essay, some practical wisdom that could really transform how you think and act.
Right. And essentially, the essay sets up justice as the ultimate standard for fairness. It's, how a society balances rights and duties, rewards and punishments to make sure everyone genuinely gets what's due to them in a way that respects their human worth.
And as we guide you through this, just know that you're experiencing a unique two-host AI conversation powered by Google's Notebook LM for a deeper, more dynamic analysis. So historically, this whole argument over fairness really split thinkers into two major camps. The question was, well, it was fundamental. Is justice some eternal truth? Or is it found in the practical, messy details of community life?
Exactly. You had the idealists, like Plato, who argued that justice is this absolute, eternal moral order. A perfect harmony in a person's soul and in the city itself.
So for them, rulers should be chasing this objective truth, not just what's popular at the moment.
Precisely. They should be aiming for a higher rational standard.
But then you have Aristotle, who sort of pulls that whole concept down to earth. He anchors justice right in the middle of community life, defining it as the virtue that regulates how we treat each other through laws.
And he gave us some really practical ways to think about it. He divided it into two main types. Distributive justice, which is about dividing things up fairly like resources or honors based on merit or need.
And the other one?
And corrective justice, which is all about fixing things. It's what happens when we try to right a wrong and restore balance after someone's been harmed.
That historical grounding is so critical because it brings us right to today to what we could call the calibration problem. We have these two powerful ideas, liberty and equality, but they can become toxic if they're not checked.
They absolutely must be measured and limited by justice. I mean, think about unregulated liberty, the freedom to do whatever you want. If you have the freedom to blast music at 3 a.m.
Yeah, or dump toxic waste, your liberty is creating a huge injustice for everyone else.
Exactly. And on the flip side, if you try to enforce a really rigid absolute equality on everyone, you can just crush legitimate differences, achievement, and that essential drive people have to excel.
Before we move on, a quick note. Mindful Moments, our YouTube channel, offers AI analysis, summaries, and critiques of complex sources, all meant to inspire reflection and rational thought.
So this calibration process, what it really achieves is pretty simple. Justice ensures people enjoy as much freedom and equality as justice allows. It sets boundaries so neither idea becomes tyrannical.
Which brings us to our third insight, and it's really the ultimate power test. Does might make right? Or does power have to answer to a moral standard outside of itself?
This is the argument that just never goes away. It runs from the earliest political thinkers who said, justice is simply the advantage of the stronger, all the way to modern authoritarian regimes.
It's a constant test, isn't it? Is the law just a tool for the people in charge? Or is it a rational measure that binds everyone, including the rulers?
That's the whole ballgame, really. The essay shows how this understanding progresses. We move from just information to tested principles, to understanding how they all relate, and then finally to wise ethical action in our own lives. Ultimately, the essay emphasizes that success isn't just about having an elegant theory in a textbook. It's about whether our institutions and we as citizens become more capable of treating people as ends in themselves, limiting unchecked power and sustaining a common life that actually works.
The golden rule is really the most practical version of this, isn't it? Treating others as you would rationally agree to be treated yourself. So here's a thought to take with you. Where in your daily life do you see rules being applied selectively, exposing a clear injustice? Click the link on screen for the in-depth essay summary. Subscribe, share, purchase via link, and think rationally. See the many genre-based podcasts at Mindful Moments. Nourish your mind on the go.